Hello, angels, light workers, starseeds, anyone that's working towards God. Welcome to my channel. This is Angel Enoch. Those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And those of you who are watching, again, thank you and for your love and support. Anyone that you think needs help with any guidance towards this and you like the messages, please share, subscribe, hit the like button. Again, like I've said before, I'm not here for what everybody wants, and if it resonates with you, that's great. If not, by all means, free will country, free will world that God gives us. Find somebody else that you like to watch instead. So I'm totally fine with that. But no, so my messages are to give you messages of how to get closer to God and to change your frequencies, change your vibrations, how to think better, how to heal, how to, do different things. And so I'm doing different themes depending on the day of the week. I am doing Soul Stroll Sundays, and then which I posted the first episode on Sunday. Today I'm recording this on a Thursday because by the time it posts on my YouTube, it's going to be tomorrow, Friday. Fridays are going to be Frequency Friday. So when I post a video on a Friday, it's going to be how to change your frequency, how to get it to be your mindset, your clouded judgment, whatever, to kind of like give you a better perspective on how to change yourself, or even to help guide others that you see struggling with certain things. We're all here to help each other out. But at the end of the day, it's time is of the essence. We are all limited beings here on this plane. God's unlimited, and Kingdom of Heaven's unlimited, but our time here is limited. So our time here is precious. And so spreading any kind of help, any kind of advice, and I do apologize. I'm looking at my face this way, but the camera's over there because it's on my iPad, and it's a little bit weird. So I'm not really looking at the camera because I keep looking at myself, and it's a whole thing. So anyways, so Friday's gonna be Frequency Friday. So my message today that I've been told to give is pretty much stop making excuses, because excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one, right? Stop making excuses, stop being lazy, and stop lowering your bar of expectation for yourself. Stop being less than what you're capable of. Push yourself to be a better person, a better angel, a better version of yourself. I'm constantly working on it every single day. I don't stop. I'm always praying to God. I'm always asking for help. I'm always thanking Him for all the wisdom and guidance, for the food that He blesses with me with, and the nourishment. Like, I will go and pray and chant over my food and be like, bless this food with the love of God. Bless this food with the knowledge of God. Bless this water with the clarity, mental clarity of God, so I could see things clearly and not be deceived and not be confused or not let myself in any time, because us angels and us spiritual beings, a lot of times we're empathic, telepathic, whatever, right? We have these gifts, and a lot of times we receive other people's sins. We receive other people's dark thoughts. We receive all this in our heads. We wonder why all of a sudden we're cussing. All of a sudden in our head we're like, we could be having the greatest day and all of a sudden our mood changes. There's an area up here in Santa Fe where I swear, I drive by it, I'm in that parking lot of that shopping area, and it is the most toxic, dark energy out of the whole place, out of the whole Santa Fe that I've been around. I am immediately getting angry. I'm starting to cuss people out, get impatient, can't stand to be there, just can't stand people, it's a whole thing, and I have to fix myself and be like, whoa, God, this isn't me. I need your help. This isn't me. Help me get it out. Like, help me clear it out, because God is peace and God is quiet. God is calm and love. Like, anything that isn't love, calm, and peace in your mind is not of God, Like, literally, like, if it's worry, panic, fear, doubt, despair, any of that's not of God. And so you ask God for help to clear that out, because nothing's stronger than God and His love. And all you got to do is ask and pray and focus with your heart. Make sure it's from the heart and soul that you really want that help. That you really, give me the strength to push this out. This does not belong in me. Anything that is not of God does not belong in me. Please push it out. And it's gotten me through my addiction through nicotine. It's gone me. I'm sitting there next to a friend smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden I'm breathing in their secondhand smoke, right? There's a lot of things with that, right? Secondhand smoke. You're not just breathing in secondhand smoke. You're breathing in their despair, their worries, their sadness that they're breathing out. If someone's, it could be a coworker, hey man, rough day, this customer pissing me off. I needed a cigarette, but I'm still stressed out. In with a cigarette, out with bad. And you're breathing in all that bad in with the cigarette smoke. It's like incense that you light. What intention's being put on in the incense, right? You're breathing in their outcense. Incense, outcense. But you're breathing in their despair, their worries, their panics, and their doubts, and whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, you're starting to feel down. And then you're like, oh, especially if you used to smoke cigarettes, right? Or you're trying to quit. I quit successfully. Thank God he helped me. But it would be that. I'd be like, oh my God. No, I want a cigarette because they're smoking one. I'm feeling their negative energies. I'm feeling their negative thoughts. I'm hearing their thoughts without really them thinking that they're making that influence on you. They're not trying to do it towards you, but it's just out in the environment, and you're breathing it and you're soaking in all that, right? So in those moments when I was with a friend and I'm like, I'm craving a cigarette, but I promised God I wouldn't smoke anything, because if I'm going to chant to praise and sing and be of God and speak his truths, I'm not going to smoke anything, including cigarettes, weed, wax for weed even, because it's kind of sticky and it makes, sometimes the wax I've noticed gets in your sinuses too, and it gives you a little cloggage. So if I want mental clarity and I need to be able to have a clear respiratory, and that's just for me at least, that's how I feel. This is a holy vessel for God, so if I'm going to put impurities in there, it's just not going to work. So anyways, I don't drink alcohol, I don't do drugs. If I am going to do weed, it's once every couple weeks, once a week maybe, and it's an edible, because it's a little bit different. And then, weed is more natural than other stuff, right? But nonetheless, I'm not even addicted to that. I can go without it and be happy because God's got me, and it's been a whole transformational thing. Anytime I've had those cravings though, like I even crave weed when I smell some weed, somebody smoking, oh my God, I crave it, right? But I made a promise to God. So how is God gonna trust me if I don't show that I'm trustworthy? If I make a promise and I say, I'm promise I'm not going to smoke anything anymore, I could sit here. Excuses, right? And that's what this message was. Excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one. Am I going to make an excuse? Oh, God's always forgiving. God's always forgiving. God will forgive me. God will excuse it this one more time when I already made a promise. There's a difference. If I told God, I'm slowing down, I'm working on it, one of these days I'll quit. But no, I told him I'm not going to smoke anything. So when I said that, that solidified that. If I want God to trust me, if I want to be able to trust in God, I got to trust God. God's got me. But then God's got to trust in me that I'm going to carry out what I tell him I'm going to do. And that's the difference, is excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one, right? Stop being lazy. Stop setting the bar like down here like, oh, well, we all got our vices. Like, okay, if something is toxic for you to be doing, whether it's drinking a certain drug, it could be coffee. If you drink so much coffee that it puts you on edge and you're like this nightmare to work with, anything that's bad for you in any level, anything can be, moderation with things, right? Everything in moderation. Once it becomes a compulsion, it becomes an addiction, and addiction is obsession. It's all the same thing. It could be a relationship. It could be, oh, I'm so in love with this person, I gotta know what they're doing 24/7. Oh, they haven't messaged me back. I'm gonna check to see, oh, on Apple Maps, where are they? I gotta know where they are. What are they doing? Like, that's stalkery, and that's obsession, and why don't you have something better to do with your life? Straight up. Like, Um, a healthy balance is to know that whether it's your kid, trust, it's all about building trust with each other. A kid is going to become more rebellious the more controlled they are. I know because I was the one. My mom had me so cooped up and didn't let me really have friends. So then in high school, I started ditching school so I could go to the mall and experience things that other kids got to experience because my mom never let me do that stuff. It's about trust, right? And so, I'm sorry it gets noisy. I'm over here in this lot and there's traffic that comes in and out. But nonetheless, I am just bamboozled when I talk to people. They make all these little excuses in the world. I just stay quiet because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not here to judge you. But that's God's job to judge you, and just know what you're telling me is not resonating with the Most High. It's not the Most High. No, just kidding. But it's not resonating with God and the high vibration that you should be on. It's not resonating with what you should be doing. So I tell you this because I talk to people and I'm like, oh yeah, I quit cigarettes, I quit this. And they're like, oh, well, I don't care, I'm gonna do it. Like, we all have our thing that we do. Everybody does. You're gonna do what everybody else does. You're not gonna be a leader. You're not gonna be a spiritual leader. You're gonna be a follower. You're gonna do what everybody else is doing. You're gonna say that you're not good enough to do better for yourself or God. You're making up excuses. And when if God was to ask you, so I noticed you said that, oh, you do it because everybody else does. Well, why? You have a group of family members, right? And the saddest part, right, sometimes, is when you have a kid that really wants to be a good person and doesn't want to be part of anything, but then they're born into a gang life. You're born into the norm, to be in a gang, to steal, to lie, to cheat, to sell drugs, to beat up other people, to kill other people. All these sins, you're into this environment. But you have this angel that's born into that family that doesn't want any part of that. But it's like, you feel trapped because in that world, you're either with me or you're not. And if you're not with me, we're going to have a problem, right? Those are probably some of the hardest situations to be in. To be honest, I used to work with teenage boys in a substance abuse unit and substance abuse and gangs. And so a lot of them did grow up that their families were gangbangers. So that's what they were. And you had some that were teenagers, they already had kids, and they wanted to sorry, I got to turn my car on real quick. So I'm doing security here, and there's a light on the top of my car, and I don't want it to drain my battery, so periodically I gotta turn my car on so the light doesn't kill my battery. But those are sad situations to be in, because you're being taught this, but then the world's telling you what you're being taught by your family's wrong. And it's like, well, what's more important, my family or what's right? What's really right? Those can be some very confusing environments. I had a kid that I call them kids because when they're 20 years younger than you, they're practically your kid. And he was a teenager, like 17, dating this girl that they were having a kid together. She was like 20 something years old. She was a nurse. So he didn't want that life for his kid. He didn't want to be in the gang life, and he was scared to get out of treatment and get back to his family because he thought he was going to falter because of his dad and his brothers and everyone else that's in that life, but he didn't want to be in it. And those are those things that is a hard position to be in. that by itself, if you can get out of that, that is not a lazy task. That is one of the hardest things you could do to overcome what your family wants, and all that, and say it's not of God, and to like say no and do better for yourself. If you can succeed, I applaud you, because family is one of the hardest things to give up in this world. But anyways, getting back to what I'm trying to say, right? He could make the excuse that his whole family's done it, whatever. There was another client of mine that his whole family's been in prison and back. That's their norm. So he had no idea. I ran into him a couple times after, like years after. And it's just sad, because you know that he's doing the gang life. He's doing the drugs. And it's like, when you're a counselor and you're trying to teach these kids to do better, you don't want to see that in the future. You wanted to see that you made an impact and did better for them. You know, you can make an excuse that your whole family's part of the drug life, your whole family's part of this bug's coming. I'm like, you can make that excuse, or you could rise above it. Say, no, I'm gonna have a son or a daughter. That's my future. That's my generation. What am I gonna make for them? I'm gonna make a stance, and I'm gonna do better by them, by doing better by me, and by my significant other. And that's why I say some of these people make excuses. Oh, well, I drink because everybody has their vice. Everybody has their thing. And you realize that the people around you that are also drinking are about complaining, are about the negative, are about the nagging, about all the BS. So let's drink because we're going to have an excuse to get out of that. And God can get you out of anything, and healing and everything. But you forgot God along the way. You forgot to trust God too. That's the thing, is how are you gonna expect God to trust you if you don't trust God? And I say that because there are so many different people that I'm trying to help. And amongst them, it's one of those things that if your family is meant to be your eternal family in heaven, it doesn't matter if you move away. It doesn't matter if you die before them, if they die before you. It doesn't matter the circumstances. If they are meant to be in heaven and you're meant to be in heaven, that's where you're going to reunite. And that's the thing, is you got to trust God. That's where you got to trust God. You can't sit here and say, I trust God. I really do. I trust him wholeheartedly. But then you don't want to let go of your kid to God. You don't want to let go of your spouse, or a certain toxic job because you feel bad for your boss, but your boss is actually using you and abusing you in some manipulative thing that makes you feel like you need that job so bad. There's millions of jobs out there. Or the other way around, you think you need certain employees because you need to get a job done. There's so many people that want a job. There's so many people that need a job that are willing to do the job. Trust me, I've been in all these environments. And it's funny when jobs say they need help, and then you're willing and you show the initiative and you show the expertise, and then they don't call you back. They don't do anything with it. I just find it funny because it's like, well, you said you needed the help so bad. So obviously you don't. All right, I'm going to go where I'm appreciated, and I don't settle. And that's the thing in life. When you're setting your bar low and you're making these excuses, you're settling for the lower ends, the low vibrations. You're settling. You're not rising above saying, I could do better. I could be better. I am better. And that's the thing. You think that athletes, when they're trying to win that race or that swim or that football game or that basketball game, they put it all. They put all their effort in, even if they don't succeed. But then with their talents and as good as they get, because they're getting better and better as they do more and more, right? They get scouted by other teams. They get scouted by higher paying teams. They get scouted for scholarships. They get scouted because people acknowledge their talents and their skills and what they have to offer. So when you stop settling and doing these low vibration things and making excuses and cup outs. I haven't heard that term in a while, so it's like people ask me why I quit my job. Well, I put a lot of effort and energy into my job. When my boss was on vacations, I was the one that ran that store like it was mine. I took care of it. I tried to make sure that everything was covered as best as possible. I was always throwing all these random things that would break on me. I worked at a gas station. The money orders for me to break down. The lottery machine was down. Like everything that could happen. I lost all my employees. I had no employees because one had quit right at the beginning of our vacation. The other one got fired because they had to be termed for being on a final and being short in the drawer for the last time. And then another employee quit. So I had to borrow employees from other stores and trying to recruit, all the stuff that I shouldn't be doing as an assistant manager. It's not my responsibility level, but I took initiative because I'm like, okay, well, it's me and the general manager, we have to make sure this succeeds together. We're each other's teammates. And I really made it a point to make it like I was her right-hand man. Now, sadly enough, a new employee came in, and that employee lied to me about a situation, as well as the customer, played me for a fool, and I told my boss, they lied to me. I asked several times about the situation. Well, we're not going to point any fingers, but you're lucky you have your job. Because I got lied to, and I got put on a spot that I shouldn't have been. No. What that tells me is you didn't value all the hard work for all the months, for like half a year. You didn't honor all the work that I did. You didn't honor me. So I'm not going to settle because I deserve better than that. Because when something else happens, are you going to have my back again? No. So I had your back all along. Every time employees would complain that, boss is unfair, rude, this, that, I always say, you know what? She wants this run, she wants to run right. And I would make excuses for her that, she wants this place to be run right. So she runs a tight ship. She's just strict, but she's a good boss. Every single time. I never talked bad about her behind her back. Apparently, employees told me that she talked behind my back. But that's beside the point. Again, I could make excuses and say, talk all this smack behind her back and behind her back. Like, I could have done it all along. But I knew I had a role as a leader. And you have to be a strong leader when you and another leader are co-working and you have these employees, you can't have them make tyranny and break the leadership chain, right? You have to just try to stay as strong as possible no matter what. And it's like, for what? I made these sacrifices for what? And I don't settle. So I scouted it out, and now I'm appreciated the job that I do right now. And I appreciate it. I get time to meditate. I get time to study. I get time to make these videos for you. And as long as I'm here doing my job, I'm good. And that's a blessing. These bosses are really cool. I'm just really grateful. Like, it may pay less per hour, like almost $4 less an hour, but I'm making more hours than I was at my old job, so I'm even making more money, and I'm happier. Like, it's a win-win. And so the whole thing behind that was not to vent, but it's to paint a picture. You don't know what's out there for you if you don't try. If you don't stop drinking and you go for a hobby you've always wanted to do, like dancing or whatever, you take martial arts, whatever you want to do in your life, like, the sky's the limit, right? Time is limited. If there's all these things that you wish you could have done when you were younger, why not? Like, that's what God put us here, to go have fun. Like, it's like an amusement park. Earth is the one giant amusement park for God. One of his, and that's the thing. You want to go skydiving? Go skydiving. You want to go take vacations? But think about it. What are you investing your energy, your time, and your money? Time is money. Time is energy. Money is energy. You know, it's a whole thing. So if you're sitting here complaining that you never have money to go on a trip, but you smoke a whole bunch of cigarettes and you drink a lot of booze or whatever the case, you're spending money on drugs, you know, like, you're doing things and you're not finding, you know, like, you know, come on. Make a sacrifice. Make a sacrifice. And all God wants you to do is sacrifice everything for Him when that time comes. You know, don't make excuses. Well, I know you said it was not a problem when you said you were drinking all along, but what kind of role model were you setting your kids when you were hanging out with your friends and drinking and your kids were just over there to the side? You're not really paying attention to them. And then you wonder why your kid is wanting attention and doing it with negative reinforcement and now causing trouble in school or getting bad grades or starting fights or whatever the case may be because they are lacking now. You shape the future. You want to sit there and say, well, I gotta deal with my emotions, I'm gonna drink. So what are you teaching a kid in the future? If they could see you drinking or they see how you act differently or whatever, and as they learn what alcohol is, what drugs are, by the time they're reaching middle school, high school, and all that stuff starts to be available in their lives, and they are like, oh, well, my mom drinks, my dad smokes, you know, and does all this, so I guess this is their coping. This is normal. And then you get mad at your kid for copying your behaviors. Like, don't be a hypocrite. Oh my gosh, don't be a hypocrite. Don't make excuses. You know, if you want to be that being of light and be that inspiration for your kids or for whatever, or for your friends or for your family, set the example. Be the example. You're an angel. You're supposed to be a leader. Not making up these excuses. Do you think God wants to hear excuses from His angels? Do you think there's so many beings on this earth for Him to hear? Everybody wants to call out to God when they need something. Wants to call out for this. Wants to call out for that. Okay, you know, I'm sorry, God, that I stole. I'll never do it again. I promise you. I promise you. And then you get some blessings coming, and then you're like, wow, you know. And then you're like, well, you know, it's not that big of a deal. My friend has these chips. I'm just going to steal a few. And you didn't ask for permission. And you don't know if that person even has enough funds to get them more chips. And that was their snack. That was their comfort. And you're taking from their comfort. You know, it may seem something very innocent, but you're making an excuse in your head that it's innocent. But it's not. Because why are you having to sneak around and do it if it wasn't innocent? I mean, sometimes there's those friends that's like, yeah, you know, if I have my food, go ahead and grab it. I don't care. And you gotta like that with each other. That's different. That's different. What I'm saying is like, oh, they won't notice a few chips missing. They won't notice it. You know, that's not the way it's supposed to be. When you want to go and sit there and you want to say, oh my God, I really would love that pair of shoes, or I would really love, you know, that expensive cologne that these homeless people steal from the mall or from the Play Store, and they're selling it for like $20 instead of $100, or they're selling, you know, for, you know, whatever, right? They stole. Now you're rewarding bad behavior. Take it on another scope. What if your kid was at school, stole a pair of shoes from a kid, and went and sold them for money? You'd be mad at your kid, but why is it okay for you to do it then? You want to get mad at your kids for doing something that you're willing to do. But then there's the other parents that are like, well, you know, whatever, you know, if I do it, they can do it. That's an even worse excuse. You're going to sit here, you're going to reward somebody for stealing something, and in any religion, stealing is wrong. You're making up excuses. Well, it's from a company. It's not that. It's from a company. It's from a big business. They have insurance. That doesn't matter. There's karmic ties to that product. You had somebody that worked in the warehouse that packaged it. Somebody that made the product in the warehouse, in the manufacturing plant, I mean. even before that. Yet somebody stocked the shelves, someone to sell it. There's a lot of labor that came into just that one product. All that work that you put others through, that you just stole from, and now they have to make more work to reproduce that product. Not only that, but these businesses have a lot of employees to pay. And if they are getting a lot of theft and they're not able to pay their employees because there's a lot of loss coming in from their business. Because it doesn't matter. Insurance rates go up sometimes for businesses. It doesn't matter if they're write-offs. The whole big picture is that now there's a lot more hands that have to do more work to replace even one pair of shoes. Anything like 10 pairs of shoes a day, let's say, that are being stolen by different people. You know, it's a big picture. These companies that now have to do shrinkage because the money being spent on all this extra labor, on the extra shipping costs, on all this stuff, the cost of the business. People think, oh, well, these businesses have money. No, that's not the point. The point is now these businesses have to make up for those losses. And how are they going to have to make up for those losses? Sometimes they have to cut hours. They have to lay off people. Sometimes there's certain benefits, especially when COVID was hit, right? And all these sign-on bonuses, that cost the companies more money, right? There was a whole, like with COVID, it's like with people that couldn't work. Well, how are the businesses going to help cover those people's sick time? Because if they had sick time that was built, right? Everything costs money. And those benefits that they're trying to give their employees, maybe they have to cut back on them. They have to slim them down. Less benefits, less health insurance, because they're trying to figure out where to make budget cuts to make up for the losses that someone's stealing. So when you think it's just, when you think you can just excuse it, that it's a business that you're stealing from, think twice. Because stealing is wrong no matter what. That's why I say people make excuses, and excuses they're lame. They're lame. And the funny thing is, when you just live honest and open, you're just honest and open about everything. You're just truthful. You don't care. You just are honest, and you live a good life. You don't have anything to worry about. I don't worry about anything because I don't lie, I don't steal, I don't do any of that. So I don't have to keep up with my lies because I don't make any. I don't steal, so I don't have to worry that I'm gonna get caught. You know, like that's the thing, is like you have a lot less stress and worries when the more simple your life is and closer to God. It's simple. It's funny. It's so simple. The simpler you live your life. Think about it. Those people that have to have 100 perfumes and 100 face creams and all this stuff, and they're like worried about this. Oh my gosh. This vanity, right? I have to look good. I need all these products. You either naturally look good or you don't. And if you're stealing those products, there's karma behind that. Those products are going to turn against you, and you're going to need more of them to keep up with it. And they're just going to make you uglier. And it's just the fact of the matter. You know, the more things you own, the more you have to worry about someone stealing it. If it breaks, to replace it, all this stuff, right? There's more worries behind it. The more things you have, the more things you have to keep track of. So I say, like, the simpler, if you just live by what you need, you're not spending as much money, you're not spending as much energy, as much time. And if you just live a lot more simpler, I'm not saying to give up everything that you have, but moderation, okay? Moderation. You know, if I've got toothpaste, okay, I'm good. You know, if I've got, hair product and skin product for now, even if I buy a different one next time, I'm going to wait till this one runs out or is low before, and I don't need all this clutter, because then I have more clutter to clean up and keep track of. And, it's a whole thing. And it's like, I know it's coming at me. I live in my car right now, right? And it doesn't get more simpler than that. You really have to be tight-knit, and, but it's so much simpler. When I go do laundry, it doesn't cost that much money because I don't have that much. I have, about 1 to 2 loads worth of laundry at a time. I have enough clothes to last me a couple weeks. So literally, I'm not doing laundry every week. I can do it every other week and survive. And since my loads aren't that big, I don't spend that much money in the laundromat. I don't have to own a washing machine and dryer because it's not that much money. It's not much of an expense. You know, it's just simple things like that. You know, why do you need 20 pairs of shoes? You don't. Right now, I have 4. I'm gonna get a couple more, but I have my slippers. But right now, until I get my place, I'm gonna be getting a place soon, which I'm excited for. Woo, woo. Anyways, hard work, dedication, simplifying your life to get what you want, right? I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, so hey, I don't spend, like $50+ a week on cigarettes. That's $200 a month. Because literally when I was, towards the end, I was doing American Spirits. Because they are more natural, they burn slower, they're stronger. So 1 pack of Marlboro would last me about a day and a half. Sometimes a day if I was like really craving one. $10. Well, I mean $8 if you bought 2 packs, $2 off, whatever, right? American Spirits were like 11 something. It lasts me 3 to 4 days. So even then though, like even if I'm spending like $20-$30 a week on American Spirits, times 4, that's still $100 to $120. Like you know, it's nuts how much you save when you can cut off certain addictions that aren't good for you, and that money could be put aside towards a vacation, towards clothes, or towards something that you really need, something, you know. And then it's cool because if you go out and you find these deals, like I went to H&M and I found clothes that were like $4 for a shirt, $10 for a pair of pants. Like these are mall quality clothes, brand new, and I'm saving a whole ton. And like it was a whole thing. Like right as soon as I quit cigarettes, and I was like looking for a couple extra clothes for the summer and stuff. I bought shoes at Target for like $10 that were normally $36, and they're dress shoes. And just in case I need dress shoes for like an interview, they look kind of nice, you know, they're comfortable. I bought some Nikes. These are my kind of my work shoes because they're sneakers. Then I have my sandals, and you know, sandals are for me for leisure. Like it's simple, you know. You know, and when I get my place, you know, maybe I'll buy, you know, a couple more things at that time, but we'll see how that goes, right? The thing is, the simpler you live your life, right? You don't have as much worries, you don't have as much baggage. You don't take anything with you to heaven when you go, right? Like all of this gets left behind. And even so, I tell people, when you go on vacation or when you move from one house to another, you do yard sales sometimes for that. You know, when you're moving, you get rid of things you don't need. You don't take all the stuff with you when you go on vacation. So why do you take all the emotional baggage and trash with you and make excuses of why this and this and that? No, like leave work at work, leave home at home. You maybe have some things where you like talk about work, like, oh, you know, I had this situation today at work. Or you might be at work, and they're like, oh my God, my kid, you know, he got in trouble. You know, but don't dwell on it. You just maybe tell one of your coworkers because you need to talk to somebody. But don't dwell on it. You got work to focus on. And I find work sometimes is a good distraction from the personal. And then when I go to hang out with friends, I'm not going to come with all my baggage of work and personal and all that stuff because they have their own issues to work with. And that's the thing, when people get selfish and they get so needy to be heard. They get so needy to be heard sometimes. And it's like, okay, well, I get when there's a big thing and you do need to be heard, yeah. But it's like, when it's on a constant, you have those friends that are always constantly going through something, and they're always kind of a downer, right? When do they listen to you, though, sometimes, right? Or when you have a thing, they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, I know, but I'm going through this and this and that. Like, and they cut you off sometimes. And it's like, well, that's a toxic friend. You know, and that person probably needs to learn how to be like, balance it out and hear somebody else out a little bit more too. But again, excuses, right? Excuses. Well, I'm going through this. Like, they should be understanding that I'm having to vent so much. That's selfish. Selfish. There was something that I was thinking of the other day, and I was thinking that's selfish, and I forgot what it was. It was an important message that ties into all this. You know, and, well, it's not the same thing. But speaking on selfishness and excuses and all that, right? If you ran a business, would you want people stealing from your business? Would you want people slandering it, tagging it, smoking drugs in front of it, shooting up in front of it? Like, I swear, when you work at a gas station, you see it all, right? But how is that okay? The other side of it is, I get that there's homeless people like me that get there and put into a position, just boom, it happens. I'm almost 2 years homeless because my mom died in low-income housing. She was on, I wasn't part of her lease, and I was her caretaker, and I couldn't get in more than 16 hours a week, and it was minimum wage. She needed more hours than that for care. And when she passed, I lost my job, I lost the apartment, and I lost her. That's one of those circumstances, and I'm not the only one. There's people that lose their whole family. There's people that, but we always have a choice of what to do. And I was horrible back then. I was a mess back then. My friend tried helping me with like a place, and he was like, why haven't you gotten a job? Why haven't you gotten a job? My ex told me at the time, you had a month to mourn over your mom and get a job and get your stuff together. Why? Because you need a place to stay from your situation, and that's why you want me to get it together because of you? Like, that's selfish. Like, when you're grieving, like, I'm still mourning over my mom, and it's been almost 2 years. I go and I do it on my own in my private time because I don't like people to see me weak. And not because I think crying or any of that's a weakness. It's not. But I know that my friends, most of them are going through their own baggage and they have their own stuff. And for me to have them worry about me on top of it, I feel that's selfish on my part when I know that I'm okay. God's got me and I'm okay. I'm really okay. So why am I going to make it about me and bring them down even more than what they're going through? I'd rather them see me be positive, and I'll work through it with God on my own time. And I do. I go for walks. I do my thing. And that's how I mourn and I grieve and I heal. But I do that to be a martyr because my friends don't need to see me down, because they're going through a lot of stuff that right now in the moment, I'm not going through anything major. I've got me, I've got a job. And that's the thing, is I don't give up on myself. Yeah, I knew I was messing up, but I knew by last year and New Year's, I got to shape up. I got to get my life together. And so I started this whole healing process, and I was helping people at the homeless shelter I was staying at. And that brought me to a life purpose again. I didn't want to live. My mom died. I didn't have any other family. I saw how ugly the world is, of how these people are and judgy and stuff. When you're homeless, people do look down on you. They think you're all like trash. And it's like, wait, not all of us are. You know? And so anyways, when I was at the shelter, I would help the sick, the elderly, the ones that needed the extra help. And it gave me a sole purpose because I love helping people. It made me want to live. And it started shaping my angelic path. And so last year I was in a toxic environment where I was staying with some people and got really into drugs. So I moved up here. When I called one of my friends, I was like, yo, can you help me? Because I need to get out of this toxic situation. It's just not an environment I need to be in this apartment complex. And so she picked me up. She was sleeping out of her car. So then here we were, sleeping out of her car together. I started working at a gas station. Her car got stolen. So then we literally were on the streets trying to figure out where to sleep up here in Santa Fe. We slept on the side of the railroad tracks. I did my job. I helped her get some money together so she could get a bus ticket to go somewhere safe. Then I got my car financed, and I started sleeping out of my car. You know, and then I had a friend let me stay with him for a bit, but right now I'm back in my car. But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is I could have made an excuse that I'm homeless, everybody else is doing drugs, all these people around me are doing drugs. I could go to that road. I could have felt sorry for myself and said, this sucks. I am having to sleep on the side of the railroad tracks. Poor me, poor me. I said, no, you know what? I got a job. This is a blessing. I'm going to earn money. I'm going to get my car. I'm going to do things that I need to do for myself. And I kept willpower. I have to turn these lights on because the sun's setting back there. I got to do this. And I stayed strong. You know, I stayed strong to this day. I was helping other people out. I could have gone a place sooner if I didn't, but I don't trade that for the world either, because that's always good karma. That's the thing. If you are over here hung up that you did so much for somebody and they never did anything in return, that's not the mindset. You might as well, I don't know. You might as well be as messed up as they are that used you. Because you're looking to get a comeback. You know, you're looking for something. If you give lovingly and unconditionally, you're like, you know what? It's okay. They don't pay me back. It's okay. Because maybe you don't need that energy that's a tie to that. And you don't know what's around the corner because you're such a loving person. You're going to start getting blessed. I'm fine. I have a job. I've several jobs. I technically work for this company. I also work for another company, but I haven't been able to help them because I've been working too much at this job. Both doing security. I'm also doing Grubhub on the side to earn gas and food money. I don't have any needs, and I don't have any wants or desires that override. I really don't want for much because I have what I need. I can make more money. I can make more for me. I can make more for me. I am capable. I am better than all the ones that want to sit there and beg. Like, I'm not trying to put down the homeless people that really need it, that are looking for food and shelter like I was. Like, but I never really begged because it's just one of those things. Like, I feel bad taking from somebody. Excuse me. I feel bad. Someone's worked whatever shift that they've worked, whatever job they worked, and I'm going to ask them for money. When I can figure it out for myself, I'm going to ask them for money. Food. I mean, there has been a couple times I've really needed it, you know. When my friend's car got stolen, I was lucky that somebody blessed me with clothes to start my job because my clothes were in her car. My driver's license, my debit cards, my degree, my associate's degree certificate, and all like my little portfolio that I had that was to get jobs for job interviews. Like I had my degree, my high school diploma, all that was stolen in her car. Like, you know, like for everything to be taken and really be from rock bottom and to still be building up. I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I have more initiative and integrity and drive than what they do. And that's what sets me apart. There's a lot of homeless people that still have that drive. There's this older man, and some of his fingers have been damaged from history work. And he had to give up his dog for a bit. And he was struggling and sleeping out of his car. And now he's starting to get work and he's starting to get better things. He's got his dog back. You know, and he's like 50, 60 years old, something like that. He's older than me. And he doesn't give up on himself. And I see these young 20-year-olds that are so hooked on drugs. Can I have some money? Can I have some money? Can I have some money? I work for my money. You want to ask me for my hard-earned money so you can support your habit? What? You can't support your own habit? Nah. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you when you go stealing from stores and you want to sell me your things that you stole. You didn't even pay for that. Like, no, I'm not going to buy that from you. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for those homeless people out there that are stealing, cheating, lying, and doing all this work with their puppy dog eyes and their sob stories and their poor me, but I need the money, but I need it. I'm gonna buy food, I swear. Yeah, right, you're gonna buy your next hit of a fentanyl or your next line of coke or meth, whatever it is. Don't lie to me. And you want me to feel sorry for you? I don't. You want to sit there in your disgust and your filth. You look dirty and trashy. You don't shower yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You don't invest in yourself in the way you should, but you want me to? Get out of here. The other side of it, though, if I do have extra food, I will get food. Sometimes it is to the ones that are on drugs, because if I was to give them money, they go out spend it on another hit. Their body's telling me that they need food, they need nourishment, they need substance. So I'll give them food at times, because who knows when's the last time they ate. And, their body, by being up for days and everything, right? They need that. So that's a little bit different. I'll get food at times to the homeless people. But, I'll give money when I see, wow, that man, you could tell he's not on drugs, and he probably had some heart situation. I'll give him a little bit of money. You can discern, you can tell usually which ones are the junkies, and I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for the junkies. And people are like, well, you should, because everybody has a dark time. Everybody has a dark time. You also have a decision on whether you're going to get yourself out of it or not. You can go get a job. You can go do this. And even if you have to build up your reputation, or even if you have to get a job under the table pulling weeds or whatever the heck, just because, you messed up legally a little bit. But then you start building credibility and trust with people. If you could do that, you could build yourself a reputation. There's so much. It's never the end. But when you give up on yourself and you make these excuses, well, the world did this to me. Well, this and this and that. No. You cannot make excuses, because God, if God was here, so why did you steal? Because I didn't have, and I was addicted to anything. Because you didn't have what? But you still have a brain, you still have arms and legs. You could do volunteer work for food. There's different programs. You could be clean, you can clean yourself up and know that this isn't for you. You could make that decision and know this isn't for you. And I'm really happy to hear that a lot of the housing programs are starting to get more strict, because somebody was telling me that they know somebody that they have medical conditions, or schizophrenia, bipolar, and all this stuff, right? They were getting housing, but then when they had to go for their screening or whatever, drug test, I don't know what the heck it is, but anyways, because I don't know how all these programs work, they found fentanyl, that they're using fentanyl, so they took their housing stuff away. Because what I kept seeing, this whole system's kind of messed up for the most part. It's like you got these people that are on disability, that are doing drugs. They spend their disability checks that should be going towards the place of staying. I've seen it for myself, or several people. They're spending their money on drugs. Well, shoot, now the rent's due, so I got to sell some pills, or I got to go steal some stuff, and that's what's going to earn me the money to pay my rent. What? And that is sad, because here I am sitting here, and I don't qualify for a lot of things because I have a job, but I'm homeless. I have a car payment, but they still say I make too much for certain programs. I don't have any kids, I don't have disabilities, but I'm working my butt off to not be homeless. And I get denied for programs. I applied for food stamps recently. Because then I could save up more money to help me get into a place. Well, you're homeless, so you make too much money. But if you had an apartment, we could count your rent and your utilities and deduct that from your income, and then you'd qualify for food stamps. But I'm making a car payment, $289 every 2 weeks plus insurance, and I'm living out of it. Is this not my home? Is this not my rent? But I don't get it, because this is a luxury in their eyes, when it's not a luxury. I'm sleeping out of it. It's my home. That is how backwards this nation and a lot of these programs work. The ones that are really trying get duped. And it frustrates me on some level. And I'm going to be honest with you, family. it frustrates me because I'm really trying to do the right thing and do it the right way. And I am doing it the right way because there's no other way. So I'm told, because this job is offering me a lot of hours, told to lie, and I don't want to lie because it's against God. And I'm like, so if I want to qualify for a voucher to help me get my first month's and my deposit paid for me, I'm getting overtime. Don't tell them about that overtime. But I've been between jobs, so this is catching me up with my car payment and things. It's not like I'm luxuriously living here. It's going to be my first check, barely. But I'm supposed to lie and say that that's just for the first check I'm getting the overtime. Which, I know that they're going to give me overtime. I just wanted a little help now to get into a place. But I don't believe in lying, so now I got to either... I got to see if they deny me or whatever, still apply and see if there's truths I could say that can help me get into it, or I just gotta wait it out a little bit longer and save up money for my own deposit in my first months, which could take like 3 more weeks and longer than the now, you know. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to vent and say it's all poor me, but we all have a decision to make with whatever we're doing. I'm not going to lie and cheat the system because I don't believe in that. But these other people that do, I mean, it'll catch up to them. Karma catches up. Now, these people are starting to get kicked out of their apartments because they're smoking fentanyl and they're doing all this stuff that they're not supposed to in these apartment complexes. And whatever drug deals, whatever they're doing, they're getting caught and they're losing their stuff. It catches up to you when you do it wrong. So I'm not about to do it wrong. But it's just how I get frustrated with the system sometimes. But I'm glad that it's getting better. And I'm glad that some of that stuff is coming out. And I'm sorry this came out to this whole vent thing. But again, it all ties into the whole making excuses for yourself. And what are you going to do to rise above where you're at? What are you going to do to get yourself out of a dark place, out of a dark situation? What are you going to do? You know?
Radio check.
Sorry. I will let you guys go for now. Sorry for that. If you like, share and subscribe and share with anyone that you feel like could be for anybody else. Just let them know. Sorry, I got to get going. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. And I love you guys. Be blessed. God bless you. And just food for thought, okay? Thank you.